What's up, Golden Gamers? Welcome to the Doctor's Note. Today we're going to be looking at your gameplay, the gameplay of the beautiful Golden Gamers. And I figured one of the best ways to do that was to take your clips from Twitter instead of high-level matches. Why are we doing this? Because we want to help you. We want to help everyone get better, and we figured what better way to do that than getting your clips directly and having me talk about them. Hopefully this benefits the bird, and benefits your eyes, your brain, your heart, and everything else. Now, if you don't want to watch the bird or you want to see other characters, let me know. This is a series for you guys, but if you guys want to see more of the bird, if there's other things you want me to do with this, please let me know. This is supposed to be beneficial for everyone, and I want to make this work, so hit me up. That being said, I think it's going to be really fun. We've got a couple VODs to look over here, and we've got a couple interesting questions to answer while we're doing it as well. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's go ahead and get into it.
All doctors, PR,
So we got Strange here in our first VOD. He's a Bronze 3 Falco, and he has a little bit of information for us, what he wants us to talk about. He says, definitely a beginner Falco. This was a game between his friend. They wanted to get a competitive game out, and we're just going to kind of look at this broadly. We do have some specific questions from other people down the line, but I kind of wanted to just go through some common things we might see with newer Falcos, and we'll kind of go from there. And we're going to get in on Falco Yoshi. On Yoshi's story, already starting at a disadvantage. Very tough for Falco. That's a joke, by the way. This stage is actually not too bad for Falco in the matchup. Alright, so we got... I'm going to do the classic melee analysis thing one time, and I'm going to pause right at the beginning, even though we just started, and I'm going to say, when you're doing your opening, you want to make sure that you're really thinking about what's going to be getting you, what your opponent's going to be most likely to do, and what's going to be getting you a good punish for your opener. So notice we have Falco doing a forward smash, which is great at a lot of percents, but at 0, you're going to notice that the Yoshi didn't get knocked down, and the forward smash has a lot of time to start up. So you really want to be looking for your strong combo openers. You want to think about your nairs and your down airs, because these often link into shine, which is your big way to start your big damage. Of course, there are other ways to do it, but if you want to be aggressive, which of course we see Strange was here, that might be something you want to think about. Okay, there's our forward smash again. You want to be careful about how much you let that loose with smashes as well. So if you're a new player, you might be doing ground attacks a lot. And ground attacks are the quickest way to get out your moves. But again, notice how much you're able to get a really big punish off that. Not so often. So getting your aerials down is going to be really helpful, really valuable. All right, nice recovery coming in with that high side B. When you have your opponent in the air, you want to do a back air like that. You just want to make sure that you're facing away from your opponent and coming in. Going up onto Randall, very smart. Not trying to always go back on stage. And there you go. Opponent is above you, did the back air, sealed the stock. Going to the ledge, you don't really need to do that so much against Falco. Sitting on a platform and light shielding is going to keep you very safe. There's our forward smash. Notice it knocked down because the percent was a little later. Oh, and you can see when you're in shield, one of the things you really don't want to do is you want to try and make sure that you recognize you have time. Shield's going to stay up for a little while before it breaks, and you have time to kind of see what's going on. Make sure you think about all your options, like full hop, wave dash, laser, down air, and of course you have roll too. But if you're going for your roll like that, moving away from your opponent is generally going to be a little safer than going into them, at least until you get to a somewhat higher level where they might expect that. You know, calling out some of these habits like that is going to make a big difference in your early game play with the bird. And it's going to keep you from getting hit and getting down tilted by Marth, which of course nobody wants. Unless you're Zeke, who's in the call right now, in which case you ignore everything I just said.
I love down tilt.
Yeah, so that's going to be all for this video. Hopefully this Strange Falco gameplay is still going to be applicable to you all. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Strange, and I hope this is very helpful to all of the bronze birds out there.
Also, you're now obligated to beat your friend because he probably did not get his VOD analyzed by one of the greatest melee players of all time.
We're going to be looking at Snickerdoodle Silver 1 Falco. The first question is, how did I get beat so bad? Lol. Well, don't worry, we're going to do our best with that, probably through the other questions. The second one is, I felt super trapped in the corner against this opponent, not sure what to do. Third question is, I know Shine Out of Shield is a good answer to an opponent's shield pressure, but I'm really bad at it. Any advice on when I should try it, or when I should not go for it, or how to practice it and improve the execution of it? The third one is a little bit of a practice question. I won't spend a lot of time on that because I really want to show you guys the gameplay and talk about it. But I will say that one of the best things you can do is an Uncle Punch. There's actually an out of shield training option that you have, and you can have an opponent hit your shield and you can practice your timing on that. You can have a friend hit your shield and practice it. You can set up a save state in Uncle Punch and have them practice. So there's actually a lot of really good ways to practice your shine out of shield. And of course, when you're in a match, you want to make sure that you're really focusing on that, trying to get that as well as possible. Know when you can do it and when you can't. Very important. But we're going to be focusing on the corner pressure and maybe a couple other things. So let's go ahead and get into the match right now. Snickerdoodle being the blue Falco, by the way. So we're kind of seeing, I'm going to kind of go back a little bit. We're going to do the other analysis classic. And we're going to see that we really want to be, we're getting a little bit more of our aerial approaches. We're getting our laser approaches. We're looking for shine. We're looking for aerials. So we can see that that's coming together now. But notice that we're not really landing them in a way that's giving us a big punish yet. And there's a lot of different reasons why that is. So I'm going to actually back up a couple more times just so you can see what that's like. And so with that nair, the other Falco is moving in all the time. You could have seen that before. So you want to make sure you hold your ground instead of moving forward as well. And then for this other hit, you get the downer when they're on the left side here in a second. Right here. That reel back that the Falco does, this little reel back, has messed up many a player. So I'm going to pause. So this reel back right here has messed up a lot of players. There's a very simple solution to it. You just wait a second, or you just walk forward slightly after landing the down air. And this happens to Fox too. It can even happen to some other characters a little bit, but really in the spacey matchups, at these percents, there is the reel back that's going to happen sometimes, and it's not always going to happen. So you need to really be watching out for it. And I think some good advice in this matchup is going to be once you get some lasers on your opponent, you can kind of just go in. You don't need to spend a whole bunch of time lasering. This isn't the Marth matchup. You can just get your laser and kind of go. If you wait too long, they could just kind of move away from your pressure, right? You don't want to give them that chance. We're going to lose that stock and we're going to move on. Let's see. Do we have a corner? And the corner got on a platform. That's one of the things you can do. Seems like you're already doing it. Not sure where the problem is yet. You're in the corner. Try to catch them coming down. They moved away. So when you don't want to jab when you're waking up in the corner, because the other Falco can do an aerial like that and beat pretty much everything. Crouch cancel in the corner. You were at 73 or like 50 something before then. You can still do that and get out. So you're doing a lot of the answers already. Mixing up your shield, crouch, full hob. I mean, these things are all really good. If you want to be more aggressive out of the corner, you can try doing YOLO aerial. Run through down air or nair is going to be really good just to kind of keep the other Falco respectful. But yeah, it seems like you're actually handling the corner pretty well. You mixed up a lot of things. Could afford to mix it up a little bit more, play a little more safe. But I think you've got the right idea. Maybe shoot a high laser in this matchup specifically, just because it slows the other Falco down if they try to do an aerial or laser approach and you have the time to do it. So I think that's a lot of things you can do in the corner, and hopefully that makes you feel a little more comfortable. And yeah, we're kind of progressing up a little bit, going from Bronze 3 to Silver 1, seeing a little bit more depth to our bird gameplay. For our third game, we're going to be looking at a Falco known as I Stay Strapped, who is Platinum 3. So we're going to be moving up the progression once more. And their question for me is, they've been having some trouble with Falcon, and they specifically want to work on getting out of the corner also. This is going to be a common theme for Falcos. Getting out of the corner is kind of difficult, but we're going to see if it's different, if it presents differently. For their other question, they were also wondering about closing out stocks when Falcon is at high percent. So we're going to be looking for corner situations again and Falcon at high percent. But I think this is going to be an interesting match, so we're going to go ahead and look at it right now. So we're seeing a little bit more follow-ups from our aerials, but it's hard. Of course, the Falcon's DI is good. So shooting these high lasers to keep the Falcon from aerialing, that's really good. So that's a great first stock. Took the Falcon's jump, did the high aerial so they couldn't jump at you. Went a little low there, made his recovery much easier to punish. You don't have to corner yourself like that if the Falcon's coming back, respawning. So again, staying out of the corner, moving away from Falcon on the platform because we saw before that they wanted to come in. I'm in the corner, drifted in with down air, kind of risky, but it worked out. You might want to drift back to stay safer. Fell in with a drift and aerial again. Really want to mix that up or he's going to start punishing you for it really hard. So very careful about that. Make sure you're mixing up what you're doing. Again, even at plat 3, notice that we have 2 times in the corner done the same option, done the full hop, drift, and aerial. And you're not using your double jump. You're not changing your drift at any point. You just wait at one point, then you drift all the way in. They did nair versus down air, but keep in mind, you could double jump. You could air dodge to the platform. You could instead just shield. You could roll. You could spot dodge. You could do a short hop aerial. You could laser. You could go back to the ledge and do something. You could run off double jump, double laser. So there's a lot you can do in this situation. Even though it's not always going to feel like it, full hop is a nice way to get out if you think they are going to immediately attack, but you have to think from their perspective. Can they always immediately attack? Do they always have the range to it? Are they going to want to? Does Falcon really want to immediately attack Falco all the time? Usually not. So let's make sure we're keeping that in mind. And we're going to look for the corner situations a little more and these high percents. We have a high percent here. Let's check it out. Dash attack, back air. Great. Pushes him off the stage. We're going to need one more back air to seal it off. I see what the issue is here. So let's go back a little bit. So you've got to hit these as Falco. And this isn't too hard. You can even like run out with like a dash full hop nair or maybe even down air, depending on how close the Falcon does this if you want to hit him. But grabbing the edge here is fine. So you want to grab the ledge a little earlier because actually where I paused it is important. When you grab the ledge, you actually have a few frames where you can't jump or do anything. And right here is the perfect place to let go of the ledge and double jump and back air Falcon. He is dead here. He is 100% dead. It doesn't matter where he goes. He is dead here. But because you grab the ledge right here, you can't do that. And the reason you grab the ledge right here is because you need the invincibility so that Falcon doesn't grab you when you're trying to back air. But keep in mind, you can actually space your back air to beat Falcon's early up B grab. Like, I know no one wants to get grabbed by Falcon's up B, but trust me, it's just way simpler if you just know that you can beat it out and you can take the stock. You know, if you grab it at the wrong time, like here, it can cause problems. Even so, Falco can still get the kill. But then you dropped in double jump, and you want to make sure you delay your double jump, or you try to get on stage faster, like maybe you edge dash, so that Falcon can't go really high over you, because you don't want him going high. He sees that you're going towards center, so he goes back. Now, you actually can still even hit him here again, so you actually have had 3 chances to kill him. You could, like, turn around F-tilt, he's drifting away, he's dead, he'll just DI away. Even if he DIs in, you have an easy back air from here, once again. So there's a lot of options that you can actually pick right here. So I just wanted to show you guys that sometimes, especially with edge guarding Falcon as Falco, you have a lot of chances to get the kill. So even if you mess up, just make sure you play the next position as well as you can. So here's my other thing. This is kind of going to sound like other things I've said, but I've been seeing it a lot now. Going high versus Falcon. So again, look at all these high double jumps. Look at this. Look at this. Again, we're jumping. We're a little jumping bean bird right now. And Falcon, you saw what Falcon did there. He went for that up air. He's seeing this. And that's exactly what Falcon wants to do. If he sees you going in the air this much, you are up air food. And at these percents, if he trades, you're dead. But he can just beat you out a lot of time and you're still dead. So even though he didn't get the true punish, notice that you're still in lag. And he caught you moving away. So this is a combination of stuff in the corner, sure, but this is also a general thing because even in the center just a moment ago, you were still jumping around a lot. So make sure that you try to play a little more lower to the ground against Falcon. I think going up high sometimes, especially as a bait, is okay, but generally you want to stay a little lower. You know, like we saw how much value you were getting from your short hop back air, from your high lasers. You want to make sure you're doing that and not giving him the access to this easy combo starter, or in this case, kill move. Yep, that's an easy edge grab, and that's the stock. So hopefully that makes some sense. Once again, we have stay lower versus Falcon, mix up your plays in the corner, be very careful about when you grab the ledge, use your back air versus Falcon's up B when he is recovering. So those are, I'd say, are the 3 things for this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little more in-depth view for the higher ranked game. And we're going to go ahead and look at one more. Hopefully you're enjoying so far. We've got one more clip coming out from Crawfish, who is a Diamond 1 Falco, wanting to learn more about Yoshi. Looking forward to talking about that. But I actually saw a different question that wasn't related to a clip that I wanted to kind of include in here, just because it's so timely. So I'll be talking about that some while this is going on. But their question basically is, do I think there's more Falco left to play? Or basically, is there room for Falco to grow? And my answer to this question is, and I'm going to be talking about this some while the video plays out and I talk to you guys about Yoshi also, but I think the answer to this is yes. I think, you know, Falco can make a lot of improvements. We still see it. You know, Mango is still making some good results, and I think, you know, as much great things as he's done, he's still one guy. And so I think, you know, having some other influences, kind of like how Jmook was able to bring so much more to Sheik, even though there were other good Sheiks doing a lot of good things, it's going to be this kind of same deal. And I'm hoping that by doing this Falco content and inspiring more birds, we're going to get more of that clean Falco play out there. And so looking at Falco Yoshi, especially on this stage, it's a little different than some other stages. And the reason for that is because you don't have to worry about Yoshi shield dropping on a platform or double jump canceling from a platform, but it does simplify the matchup in some ways. So we're going to see Yoshi do a lot more short hop approaches like so, but we're still going to see the double jump cancels. So you have to watch out when Yoshi jumps for this mix-up. And that was a great fake coming out from this Falco. I'm going to make sure you're jumping near Yoshi where you could attack, but you might not. And then when they do commit, you can get that punish. But if they didn't, you can just fall back down. So that's a good mix-up coming out. Again, same idea we talked about before. Make sure that your opponent's close enough. They might reel back when you hit them. Something else we talked about. Careful with how aggressively you jump in against Yoshi. He counters that really well. Something I prefer against Yoshi is getting close to him and then doing some pressure. So jumping in close with some lasers and then maybe faking how much you're going to come in with your aerial, or maybe even spacing it, coming in with a grab. These are all things that are harder for Yoshi to parry effectively. So again, spacing that back air. If Yoshi knows your timing, it's very easy to counter hit. And this Falco has been spacing back air in a way that's very easy for this Yoshi to punish. And again, you don't want to cover the ground as much against Yoshi because they can go into the air very well. So you want to make sure that you're not making it too obvious. So again, staying along the ground, coming in along the ground. Oh, yeah, Yoshi's usually not going to give you those rolls. Yoshi's usually going to sit and shield. Very careful. And that could have been a down smash right there. Try to DI out a little more on Yoshi's nair if you can. Especially those weak nairs at higher percents. They're going to be looking for that. Again, Yoshi's a really, really good counter-attacking character. So you have to be really smart about your approaches. You can't just put stuff out like you might against a lot of other characters. Yoshi will eat that up. Something simple you can kind of do to make your approaches trickier against Yoshi is laser forward or laser and then dash back. That way you're kind of changing up your spacing and then you can instead just go in and attack. And coming in at the last stock at 69%, never mind. So looking at our punish game, we want to make sure we're really up-tilting, back air, and keeping the Yoshi in the air. I would almost like to do that more than tech chasing, because again, the FD, that was weird. The platform is so long, it's hard to move around. All right. But see, again, it's just so hard to tech chase this Falco on this stage. Just putting Yoshi towards the edge is going to be good. That way there's not as many mix-ups. If Yoshi's doing that up B stall, you can down smash, you can down air. We are waiting for game and we're waiting for the synopsis, but the basic idea is Falco's going to be fine. More of you birds are going to rise up and do it. Make sure that you're mixing up your approaches, hitting Yoshi in the air. You're trying to tech chase along the bottom of the stage a little less, and you're attacking Yoshi when they're on the ground really well. And make sure you're not making your approaches, your back airs, your spacings on Yoshi's aerials so obvious so they don't just space around that or parry and beat you out. Anyway, a little more in depth there as well because we are looking at some Plat 1 gameplay, but hopefully Falcos of all levels found this useful and you saw some commonalities between different levels too. This has been the Doctor's Note with PPMD. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one, gamers.